The gaming sphere right now is littered with Souls-like games ever since Dark Souls rose to popularity with its challenging but fair gameplay loop. Many games have tried to add their own spin into this already well-known genre, with games like Nioh 2 and Remnant from the Ashes adding their own identity to it. Now, here comes a new kid on the block, Lies of P. Briefly, it can be described as Bloodborne but with puppets. Please port Bloodborne to PC please, Sony! The game is set in a Victorian Steam-punk-like setting, and its vibe really harkens back to the grim and dark setting of Bloodborne. Join us here at Game 8 as we dive in and see if this game has what it takes to really stand out among the sea of Souls-like games. This is the video adaptation of our review article of Lies of P at Game 8. The link is in the description below. Set in a cruel steampunk reimagining of Carlo Collodi's The Adventures of Pinocchio, Lies of P puts you in the shoes of the titular character, P, from the classic popular children's story as you destroy rogue puppets and unravel the mysteries behind their madness. The game is set in the city of Krat, a city that was once a mecca for technological advancements, utilizing the puppets they made to make life in the city better. Everything came crashing down, however, when the puppets suddenly went into a frenzy and started attacking the humans they once served. Your character awakes in the midst of this chaos. You are tasked with solving the mystery of the rogue puppets and to hopefully find a way to stop the puppet apocalypse. Along the way, you will encounter characters who will aid you, such as Sophia, the game's version of the Blue Fairy, and your father Geppetto. You will also meet those who would stand in your way, such as the Stalkers. Alongside you is a companion named Jiminy, who is based on the talking cricket and serves as your guide as you explore the world of Krat.
But don't be alarmed. My name is Gemini. We'll talk later, when we're safe.
The game draws heavily on its base material, as players familiar with the story will definitely recognize some of the characters found in the game. Another example of this would be Alidoro, a person wearing a hound mask.
I'm Alidoro the Hound, treasure hunter extraordinaire.
In the book, this character is an actual dog. It's really nice seeing the developers take some creative liberties with how the characters are portrayed. The game centers around the theme of lying. The source material talks about being truthful and how doing so is the right thing to do. The game, however, twists that to say that lying may sometimes have better outcomes than outright telling the truth.
Grand Covenant's fourth law. A puppet cannot lie.
You will notice that telling lies does start to have an effect on your character, as choosing these options will, in turn, make you more human. It is here where the game allows you to make decisions. Will you tell the truth at the cost of your humanity, or will you lie to be more empathetic to the characters you meet throughout the story?
That's right, kind one.
While the story does get interesting, it starts to get sort of predictable with the way it's presented. The game has 3 different endings, and which ending you'll receive all depends on whether you were truthful or if you lied your way throughout the game.
It seems Geppetto even taught you good manners.
Lies of P is, to put it plainly, a cookie-cutter Souls-like game. It features all the usual things one would find in a Souls game. Stamina management? Check. A bonfire system which also respawns enemies when rested at? Yep, it's here too. A pretty maiden that helps you level up? Big check. Your weapon bouncing off the walls when you're trying to hit an enemy? Check. That's not to say that this is a bad thing. The Soulsborne gameplay loop that FromSoft made popular just works. And Lies of P definitely captures that same feeling pretty well. Combat doesn't feel too sluggish and actually responds to your inputs. It also helps that every weapon you find feels very unique, so finding the best one for you is pretty easy. The weapons are what makes Lies of P really stand out among the other Souls-like titles. The game features a modular weapon system. Each weapon you find, save for boss weapons, can be divided into 2 parts, the blade and the hilt. You can attach every blade and mix and match them with any handle you find. Why does this matter? Well, this allows you to really customize your weapon to your liking. Your weapon's moveset depends on which handle you have currently equipped, while what damage type and attack speed your weapon will have is determined by the blade. For example, we found a curved greatsword in one of the levels, and we decided to swap out its longer blade for a lighter blade. This in turn made its swings a lot faster, but still kept the weapon's large AoE swings. The system naturally encourages players to try out different hilts and blades to spice up the combat. There are many ways to mix and match your weapons. Want to make a fast swinging halberd? Attach a dagger blade to your spear handle. Want to stab using a blunt weapon? Not really sure why you'd want to do that, but the game allows you to. You can even make whatever this thing is. Oh, that's a big bonk weapon. Yeah, that works too. That's not the only notable thing about the weapon system, as each part also has its own special abilities tied to it. This mechanic is called the Fable Art System, and it is similar to the Ashes of War from Elden Ring. The blades usually have more combat-oriented Fable arts, while the handles usually have more defensive Fable arts. You can equip a handle that allows you to withstand enemy attacks, then follow up with a certain blade's ability to unleash a flurry of slashes onto your enemy. The possibilities are endless! Now, while it may look like it draws a lot of inspiration from Bloodborne with the setting and combat, Lives of P feels more like a strange love child between Bloodborne and Sekiro. The game features a parrying system similar to Sekiro, where parrying at the perfect moment allows one to easily break the enemy's posture to deal huge damage to it. The parrying window may be a little tighter compared to games like Sekiro or Nioh, but once you're able to pull it off, boy does it feel satisfying. As the game is a Souls-like, it of course has to feature boss fights that may or may not make you pull your hair out. Ha, that definitely didn't happen to us.
Humanity must be born again.
This game's boss fights provide players with quite a challenge, especially the later bosses. It comes down to the usual trial and error formula of learning the boss's movesets as you slowly chip away at its health to defeat it. Now, don't worry about not being able to beat it solo, as the game does allow you to call for assistance in the form of NPC summons. Similar to the summoning signs in the Soulsborne games, you will find a basin that allows you to summon a specter to help you with the more challenging fights. You can fight these boss fights alone, but some fights do feel a bit unfair when you don't have someone to watch your back. Another one of the game's strong points is its audio and visuals. The way the game is presented really paints a picture of a post-apocalyptic town ravaged by frenzied puppets. Each area of the game feels very distinct and gives off a sense of wonder as to what transpired in the area. From city streets overrun with puppets to an old cathedral filled with monsters, the game's environmental design is quite a sight to behold. It also really helps that each area interconnects with the other, which makes navigating these areas a lot less of a hassle. The great visuals don't stop at just the environments, even the enemy design stands out and looks great. From your typical shambling butler puppet to the more menacing miner puppet, every enemy looks distinct and intimidating. The bosses get a special mention as some of the designs truly look monstrous and terrifying. You can tell that the developers put a lot of thought into making these enemies look imposing, and it really makes us look forward to the next boss encounter. The human character designs are also a big standout. Their designs look like they fit within the world, and you can tell at a glance that some of the characters play an important role in the overall story. Speaking of the characters, the voice acting for them is great too. Notable characters like Venini, who is a well-known inventor in the world of Krat, sounds like they fit within the world of the game with how they talk about their inventions.
Signor Lorenzini Venigni, gentlemen, bon vivant, and at the moment, utterly at your service, my friend.
And how could we not mention our lovable guide Jiminy? Jiminy is the voice we hear the most as we explore Krat.
These bodies. Could they be from Moonlight Town?
He gives off some much needed commentary on the happenings in the game, which in turn makes exploring the dark and dangerous streets of Krat a much better experience.
The grand exhibition theme was automatic puppets and City of the Future.
It also helps that his voice is not the usual annoying guide voice that you would hear in other games. I'm looking at you, Paimon.
How about we explore the area ahead of us later?
The audio for the game is excellent and truly draws you into the world of Lies of P. The combat sound effects are striking and make fighting the horde of puppets very satisfying. Just the way your weapon clangs against the enemy puppets conveys how heavy the impact is, and boy does it feel great. The music, the music! The music of the game is just amazing. The boss fight themes feel epic as the large orchestral soundtrack makes you feel like a hero fighting to save the day. Lies of P is definitely one of the better Souls-like out there. We here at GameMate are giving Lies of P an 8.4 out of 10. While it really doesn't do much to shake up the formula, the game does a fantastic job of hitting the right beats of what makes a Souls game great. The responsive combat system and the imposing boss fights make this a game fans of the genre should definitely try out. So, what do you guys think of Lies of P? Does it stand out in an already saturated Souls-like genre? Let us know in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out the written version of this review linked in the description below.